What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel again, Pilo Trades. So this morning, I realized that last week, I know I was a little busy at the end of the week. Had a couple of family events and whatnot. So I didn't get a chance to update you on the M1 Dividend Portfolio. So I'm going to use this morning to update you on last week and how we're doing so far this week. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so last week, let's take it back to the 13th. Yeah, the 13th. And so on the 13th, we had 6 buys. Again, we have that recurring $50 deposit into this portfolio, and we executed 6 buys. And here you have it, those 6 buys. I mean, let's take a look at the algorithm. You know, it's buying mainly REITs, that growth, VUG, I think that's Vanguard's growth ETF. And you got the CLM and CRF, you got the cornerstones, which remember, I'm trying to anchor most of my portfolio to those. I believe the cornerstones, I mean, not only is their dividend super high or healthy high, and, it's a 4-star rated fund on Morningstar. And, it's just great funds all in all. So I think the cornerstones is going to be, or they are going to be, a staple in my portfolio. All right. I'm trying to anchor most of my portfolio on these two. And that was pretty much all throughout last week. I mean, nothing too exciting. I think the more exciting part was all the dividends we got, right? So look at all these dividends. We got some realty income, some Stag, it's like Omega Healthcare, EPR Properties, ADC or Agree Realty, Whitestone REIT. So all these paid some dividends, and although they might not seem like a lot, trust me, they do build up over time. Right. And again, whenever in your M1 portfolio, whenever there's at least a minimum of $25, it will execute a buy on whatever the algorithm sees fit. And this brings us over to yesterday morning on the 20th. As you can see, it only executed 3 buys, and that was the cornerstones and our YLD. So you see how the algorithm is changing and how it's allocating some of these funds. And, and that brings me to my next point. I have been noticing, not only on YouTube, but, just whenever you read, Yahoo Finance, or whenever you're doing some stock research, I'm noticing that there's a lot of big time investors that are pulling back on a lot of their positions, not necessarily selling completely out of them, but definitely trimming down, a good 5, 10, up to like 20% on some of their positions, especially if those positions are at a 52-week high or an all-time high. And I mean, it makes sense. I don't want to get political, but it is an election year, and it is a little weird. If you pay attention, it is a little weird that we have the shittiest economy I've seen in a long time. It's so crappy and so shitty of an economy, yet S&P and Dow, I believe, hit all-time highs, right? And it's like, how is it that how is it that the stock market, right, is hitting all-time highs, yet you have a shitty economy? It just doesn't make sense in my books. So I think the algorithm is doing that as well. It's accommodating to that. But if not, I'm going to have to take a look at all my portfolios and do the same thing, because I do have I do notice that I'm heavily into the energy sector, and some of these other sectors too, like the real estate market as well, or the REIT sector. And so if anything on there is at a 52-week high or an all-time high, I'm probably going to trim back, if not completely sell out of that position. And I think what I'm going to do is either have just mad cash sitting on the sideline in my high yielding savings account on Vanguard, which gives me a 5% interest rate, or I'm going to put that back into broad market ETFs, right? Put it back into VU, put it back into maybe the cornerstones and get that dividend going, right? But that's something to think about, all right? Because again, if the market is shitty and we have all-time highs in the market, I mean, this pullback's going to come back, right? And it's going to come back hard. So that's just, something to think about. So with that being said, guys, let's take a look at what the portfolio is doing overall. We are at a net cash flow of $21,848, a market gain of $153. We have dividends of $1,857.09. When you put that with your market gain, we have a plus $2,000 $110.34, giving us a 15.18% return. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and share this video if you found some value to it. Again, hit me up in the DMs or comment if you need some help, rebalancing your portfolio, or if you just need somebody to give you like a second pair of eyes on whatever you need. And don't forget, I am not a financial expert. I am not a professional. I'm just a guy on social media that loves dividend investing. So until next one, take care.